right, so I'm going to give you, look, we could spend a full 2 days on what we're talking about right now, but I'm going to give you 2 things to help you with this. How many of you are the successful business operator, which means you do everything all the time, anything all the time? Raise your hand if that's you. You market, you sweep the floor, you buy the supplies, you buy the coffee, you come put your hands down, and you do the post, and you close, and you take the origination app, and you do this, and you do that. Here's what I want you to do. Again, depending on where you're at, I want you to make a list of the top 10 things that you do on a day-to-day basis. Just make the list your 10 things that you do the most. Put that in a list. And I mean, if you'll do this, I promise you, you'll get out of this stuck as a business operator. And you'll move to the next one. So make a list of the top 10 things you do every single day. And what I want you to do is to figure out what's the value of that job. What's the value, the dollar value of that job? What's the dollar value? So you make your list of 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, okay? And I want you to assign a dollar amount to the activity. Like, what would I pay someone to do that? And the next step, right? So first step is make a list. What's the second step? Assign dollar value. Third step, figure out what is your time worth based upon how you pay yourself. What is your time worth based upon what you pay yourself? Are you worth $500 an hour? Are you worth $100 an hour? Are you worth $5,000 an hour? And this is going to take work. Spence, come on up, baby.
Let me just add one thing here. It was actually in a fly-in Friday like this, where we were doing this type of exercise, and this is when I was still back in Virginia running the taxi cab company, and I had all these things that only I could do in my mind. And I was sitting there contemplating this, and some of them may have been low-dollar jobs, but in my mind, well, nobody else can book my flights. I know where I like to sit on the flights. I literally had that thought. That's why I'm sharing it. That's how stupid it was. But that's how I was thinking. I can't release this stuff because nobody can do it like I can. How many of you were thinking that? Yeah. Okay. Well, I was sitting in a room like this, and one of my brothers looked across, and he's a southern boy from Texas, and I will never forget it. And he said, well, I'll tell you what the first problem is, Spencer. What? You open to some feedback? Yeah, I'm open. Remember, if you ever say you're open to feedback, you're about to get punched in the throat. Just know. And he said, first thing you need to do is realize that you're just not as important as you think you are. I was like, well, you're not as big as you think you are. So I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. I sat there for a second. It hit me, and I let it process. He said, if you're not willing to give up this this basic stuff that a high school kid could do, then stop talking about it, quit complaining, and just stay mired in the bull that you do every day. Nobody wants to hear you complain about it. You really believe somebody else can't figure out where you want to, or actually do what you tell them to do, to book a flight? You really believe that? And as soon as I realized I'm not as important as I think I am, the world opened up to me. If I had continued on that path, believing that I was the only one that could do stuff, because there were big things I needed to delegate to get out of the day-to-day operation of that business, there's no way in the world I would have considered shifting that onto somebody else had I not been punched in the throat with, you're just not as important as you think you are. So everybody write that down. In the business world, you are just not as important as you think you are. And stop holding on to this stuff, because if you just refuse to let it go, then you might as well just accept the fact that you're going to be where you are, and that's about as good as it's going to get. That's it.
2 clap. You are not as important as you think, Shannon Malcolm. Now, we said first step, make a list. Second step, assign a dollar value. Third step, determine your value. And if you want to kind of determine your value, God, there's a formula for this. I think it's like you take what you're taking home, divide it by 2,000, and get, well, figure out how much, what is your hour worth? Just write down, what is my hour worth? Now, here's the fun part. Guys, is this useful for you? Yes. Okay, if it's not, we'll.
The number is 2,080.
Say it one more time.
So the number is 2,080. So
Okay.
take your dollar amount divided by 2,080, that will tell you your hourly rate.
Give her a mic, so let's get the mic on her, please. One more time. Teach us the formula here.
Yeah, so the formula is if you just took your annual income and you divided it by 2080, that will give you your hourly rate. And so whatever you spend time on,
in fact, do it right now.
your value, right now, yeah.
Do it right now. Divided by, okay. I don't like my hourly rate because I'm doing some really dumb things right now. Now, as you do this, okay, here's the fun part, and here's where you're going, write this down, ready? Does everyone have their hourly rate? Now, if you know you are worth more than the hourly rate, you get to shift. And here's what you have to do. So there is this phrase called line of demarcation. Write that down. Line of demarcation. Line of demarcation. Does anyone know what that means? It's just a fancy way of saying, here's the line, and I see the line, and I'm going over here, and I'm never going back over here. You, my friends, are going to have to look at all these activities that you do. And you're going to, and I would say probably on your list, I can guarantee that probably 2 or 3. There's probably 2 things that you do the best and that are worth your time. Everything under this line of demarcation, guess what you have to do? You have to say no. If your time is worth $500 an hour, does it make sense? Hey, you know what? I'll go stop by the Starbucks and get coffee for the team. I'll be back in a little bit, team. Does it make sense for you to go get coffee for your team? Does it make sense for you to go shopping at Home Depot? Unless you're getting a hammer. Does it make sense for you to do some of the activities that you're currently doing right now? Yes or no? But that doesn't, it doesn't even matter if you don't know what your time is worth. I mean, one more time. This is where most people lose. They stay either in struggling business operator or successful business operator because they don't know what their time is worth. And they never make this distinction of what they want. Now, if you want to just be busy and do a lot of busy work and feel like I'm busy, look at how hard I work at the office, and I get home late, and I put in a goal for a full day's week of work. If you want to play that game, go stay in the lame game that society has. We have to work really hard, and you are the one that has to do it. Write this down. I must say no. What do you need to start saying no to today? Because every time you say yes to an activity, you are saying no to something else. And every time you say yes to somebody, because you're a nice person, because I just want to help you. This is called having standards. Write it down. Do I have business standards? Do you have standards? I grew up in a home where we had standards. There were certain things we didn't do, and there's things we did not do, and there's things we did. It's called standards. Your business standards, if you are the owner or the operator right now, and you are doing work that's like $5-10 an hour because you're busy, and I'm the only one who can do this, you'll never get there. You will never add a 0 or 2 or 3. There's a lost opportunity cost, lost Write that phrase down. Lost opportunity cost. Who in here has a high dollar per hour? It's okay, you can be real about it. High for you. What do you think? Sam sells like per hour. What do you got?
Depends on what I'm doing.
Just give me a number. Don't even explain. Give me a number. Just number. Erickson, you're next. I just want to hear a number. Okay? Erickson, per hour. 1,000, okay? If someone's making $1,000 an hour, does it make sense that you are the one that goes sweep your floors in your office and clean your toilets in your office and go figure out how to fix the printer in the office? The time is finite. If you're going to build wealth, okay, again, come back to, if you're going to build wealth, again, we're not playing the lame game. If you're going to build wealth, 1, 2, 3 zeros, you cannot say yes to everything. You cannot do everything on your list. The line of demarcation must be drawn, and you say, hell no, or no. My son Judah asked me, Dad, can I say the H-E-double-L word? Well, what do you mean? I mean, if I'm just describing a place. Well, sure. Okay. Because if he says, hell, my wife says, what? Can you say no? If you can't say no, stay stuck. You want to go have multiple zeros? Say no to everything so that you can say what? Yes to the activities that matter. You guys getting this? Standards. Do you even have business standards? I'm going to tell you right now, so who has heard the name Richard Branson? Richard Branson owns hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of companies. And he talked about this. He's just like, I do what I'm best at, and I have my people do their stuff, and I get out of the way. And I don't want to, let me just put this back here real quick, and let's move on and close this out. Got to build teams, got to build systems, get the hell out of the way. Nick, what you got?
Hello, hello. I just want to give a real-time example for our very own Josh Gregory, who's not here with us today, but one of our Circle of Champions members. It's just really real for me because my son's 15 years old, and he works concessions at the baseball stand down in Destin, and Josh runs them. And I noticed a couple things here. Number one, 2 summers ago, Ren, my son was 13, he was dealing directly with Josh. He said, hey Josh, I can come in and I can do this stuff. And second summer, he's not dealing with Josh anymore. He's dealing with a couple of other people that Josh hired to do this. Now third summer, literally he's like, I don't even know anything about, you gotta talk to my GM. So now the same GM that's running his subways is talking to my 15-year-old to get him on the schedule for the ballpark. Because what does this look like? I don't think Josh would care if we showed some numbers. I know Josh is doing just fine as the owner of 7 subways. He's doing just fine. He wanted to help out the city, saw a money-making opportunity to take on this concessions thing. So he's now a new business operator. He's got to figure out how this thing works, right? So first summer, just jumped in there and saw how it works, even if it's something he liked. He renewed the contract. Second summer, tried something else. Third summer, he's got it dialed in. Now his GM's running it. Now my kid's getting that schedule, right? Because for Josh, he's saying, okay, this is really a cool thing that I could do. It's maybe going to add 6 figures to his pocketbook. But if 6 figures means another full-time job from May to August, this doesn't work. This does not work. I'm not helping the community that much. I'm selling them hot dogs. Somebody else could do that. He likes helping the kids out of the ballpark. He loves giving people jobs. I think he's in it for the heart. I don't think he's in it for the extra 100K. But it's got to make sense. If it takes away his thing, I got to help in some other way. I'd rather write a check for 100K than to have a full-time job selling hot dogs from May till August, right? So it took him a few summers to get it dialed in. Now, my 15-year-old is literally texting Josh's GM, who runs all of his subways. Does Josh run the 7 subways? No, Ed does. Who's Ed? Ed's the dude he started a steakhouse with 3 years ago. He and Ed were in culinary school together. They had this big idea. They were going to start this high-end steakhouse. Here's another lesson. Sometimes your scaling opportunity looks more like Subway franchises than it does this high-end steakhouse, which was your dream when you went to culinary school. Turned out that running a high-end steakhouse was amazing, and it took all day, and it was riskier and not nearly as profitable as they wanted it to be. So Josh was looking at other opportunities. His dad said, you should try Subway. What did Josh say? Subway? I didn't go to culinary school to run a Subway. Started looking at the numbers. Maybe I'll pick up a Subway. Maybe I'll pick up 2. Maybe I'll pick up 3. Maybe I'll pick up 7. And now the reason that he doesn't own more is because he's at a standing point to say, do I want to go make this a 20 or 30 franchise operation? Or doing what he's doing now, which is looking at somebody who's going to come pick him up, take him off his hands, and he can go decide what he wants to do for his next thing. But he's able to do that from a position of power and a position of high profitability buyout because he looked at these numbers, he figured them out, and he scaled. So Ed is like his man, his dude. Ed started the steakhouse with him. Guess what Ed didn't do? No shade on Ed. I've met Ed. Ed's amazing. Ed is not wired to go do what's required to get 7 Subways of his own. He wants to work for Josh. So you got to find an Ed, right? You got to go find some people that for a season and a time, Ed may go, hey Josh, I'm done. I'm going to go do my own thing right now. Then guess what he's going to have to do? Step out, go capitalize, go take risks, do all those things that Josh did 5 years ago. And he may or may not decide to do that. But for a meantime, there are going to be very, very talented, wonderful, amazing, driven people who the next step for them is not going to be to go take on all that risk. The next step is going to come in and operate your business for you, and that's how they're going to learn for a season at a time. And if you can give them a really, really great opportunity to learn and to grow, that's what's going to allow you to step out and go find your next thing.
2 clap. How many of you know your next step is to hire someone? Raise your hand. Holy smokes, more than half the room. Next step is to hire, build systems. Spend a whole nother day on that. Pitfall number 4, thank you, Nick. Pitfall number 4 is where you get stuck as a successful business owner. It's a good problem to have. You don't operate the business anymore because you've got teams, you got playbooks, you got protocols and procedures. It's crazy. Nikki Cobble back here. I mean, can I be real with you guys? This is our first time doing something like this, where we drove with our stuff to a location. First time we always fly, or we do everything in Destin. Well, we got here and we had some hiccups. So what did I say to Nikki? Nikki, SOP, all this stuff. Yeah, what does SOP stand for? Standard operating procedure. So Nikki, like I think 2 or 3 times a week, Nikki, SOP this. She builds our operating systems. She builds all the processes, systems out. If Setema's trying to do this, I'm not doing what I'm doing today. I would hate it. I'm like, I'm out. For some of you, you're going to have to grow, which means you're going to have to take a step and hire and fire and recruit and delegate and build some processes and systems. One more example, Setema, I do a lot of my social media. Guess what? I'm sick of it. So we sat down with Nikki just this week, built out the process. I think within probably a month, 2 at the most, I will not do my social. In fact, I will delete off my phone Instagram and Facebook for a season. I need to get off. I don't have to do it. It's not, I'm just telling you now, I will build a system and a team to do it for me. True or false, Nikki? We sit and talk about this stuff, yes? And she's like, brrr. Then we hired Tyler. Tyler's our tech, video, audio guy. Then we got Willie. Willie's our sales guy. Willie already knows, hey, set or close, we're going to build a sales team. So, what does this mean, stuck as a successful business owner? Write this down. Those who work on the business more than those who work in the business, okay? Those who work on the business are way more happy and way more fulfilled and way more wealthy than those who work in the business. Working on the business versus working in the business. In order to get out of being an owner, which some, like I love owning businesses, and we're going to get to step 5 and then we're going to wrap this up. You're going to have to learn how to work on your business. This is why you come here. This is why you have mentors, and you got to be real so you can graduate if you want to build what? Wealth. Okay, pitfall number 5, which is more of like a platform. Platform number 5 is the fun one. Repeat what you just did in other businesses. Now I'm going to give you 3 phases. Let's write this down here. What do I mean by repeat? Here we go. This is what you repeat. Phase number 1, phase number 2, phase number 3. This is repeat. Write this down. Phase number 1, master and conquer business number 1. What do I mean by that? Look, your business that you're currently doing right now, you got to master it. Cut your teeth, recruit, sell, fail, hire, fire, fail, fall on your face. But you do need to master this business, because this business right here, your business number 1, the business you're in, this is supposed to do something for you. Let's go green. This needs to give you some form of freedom. What do I mean? It's got to have some cash for you. You got to be able to pull cash and get to a place where you're like, ooh, I can breathe. And I have a confession to make. A lot of you right now, you think your business is hard and you're struggling. I got news for you. The businesses that are at 100 million and 200 million, guess what? They are going through the same thing you're going through. I promise you. Same thing. Headaches, hiring. Do we have enough deals? Do we have too much inventory? We have too much people. Oh my gosh, what do we get? It is chaotic. But the problem is we all think their businesses are so perfect and something's wrong with me. Nuh-uh. So phase number 1 of building wealth. Master and conquer your first business. What would it take for you to master and conquer your first business? Number 2, this was a huge one for me. Phase number 2, build your second business faster. Like Shannon and Rob, right now, a lot of you guys think in one business. You think one. This is my golden ticket. I got news for you. It's not that the first business, it's not even the second business. You're probably 3rd, 4th, or 5th business. That's going to be the ticket. Let me say this again. You don't get to phase 2 unless you win phase 1. If you can win phase 1, master this, get freedom, cash flow, go build a second business faster. And some of you guys think, I got to build another one, take 15 years. No, ready? You do not have to birth a business. This is where you acquire and have strategic partnerships, and you start to think, acquire, partnership, because I already know how to do this in my own business. I know how to hire, fire. I know how to lead and cast a big vision. I know how to recruit. I know how to have tough conversations and hold people accountable. I know how to get shit done. Master the first business, build the second business faster. Who in here is already thinking about building their second, third business? Raise your hand. I love it. Me too. Final piece here. Iterate. Iterate the empire, which means what? You've done this. Start building businesses and empires. You want to add 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros on the bank account? You cannot think how you currently think. This is it. This is our one thing. All my eggs go in the basket right here. I'm going to ride this thing till it dies. Master, second business, marketing, sales, fulfillment, hiring, team, systems, and then iterate, which means, what can I do today to have 3 more businesses by the end of the year? Again, some of you right now are like, I'm just trying to figure out how to get a damn lead. I'm just trying to figure out how to get people to like my stuff. I want to help you to see something here. if you will do, again, there's a lot here. Yes or no? Is there a lot? Who would you have to be to go build the 1, 2, or 3 zeros on the, and when we're talking about money, but you know what we're really talking about here is people. The people that you employ, the people that you bless their lives, the people that you help. If you guys can get this concept, you're like, who do I have to be in order to build an empire? We birthed 3 business ideas this week. Oh, I'm still here. I'll never stop doing what I'm doing here. I love what I do, is purpose. And I'm very clear. I'm gonna collapse this thing in the next 10 years, probably 5 years. There's people in this room that I've already said, hey, we need to have a conversation. I need to think differently. Shannon, you cannot be the person who does it all, which means you're gonna have to take a leap of faith, and you're gonna lose a little bit of money because you're gonna invest in people. Willie was employee number 1. Nick was employee number 2. Along came Spencer and a bunch of other people. Sean, who's now building his own business. We got Nikki, we got Berg, we got Tyler, and we got teams. Can you see this? Spencer does the same thing in his businesses. Last thing I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna have you guys do a quick walk and talk. Get out the room and come back and rock and roll with Spence. I want you to start to think bigger. Everyone talks about the next level. Guys, I got news for you. That next level that you keep thinking, next level, that's not even the level. What's 3 levels beyond the next level for you? What is 3 levels, Angela Verdon? What's the 3 levels beyond the next level for you? What's level 5? And lifestyle? And how you earn, invest, save, share, give it away? What's the next level? For some of you, you might not even be doing what you're doing. For some of you, it looks like you're managing a large group of people. What's the next level beyond the next level, beyond the next level, beyond the next level? If you can think like that, we'll get you moving in that direction.
Let's go. See, it's more than the game that we changing. We don't do it for the block, do it for the name. Yeah. No, there ain't no stopping it. If you really want it, better rock with it. This is how the